Let's record on this computer. There we go. Hello and good evening. So this evening, welcome to Thermo Empire's Thermomix Thursday. This week we are doing Sous Vide. So I've done some research about it and I'll run through all the Sous Vide information for the TM6 for the Thermomix, and then also you could probably do it with the TM5. You've just got to look at your temperatures. Okay, so tonight we're actually going to do scrambled eggs, and I'm also going to sous vide some strawberries in orange juice and maple syrup as well, just to show you how it looks. So what I am going to do, I'm going to share my, no, I'm not going to share my screen. I'm going to get this going because I just remembered. So I have actually saved these in my week. There we go. So the scrambled eggs, I'm going to start that off straight away because it takes a little bit of time. So as with every recipe, you've got a picture at the start, picture at the end. You can scroll down, have a look at the total time, the ingredients. Now, can you see that that step is highlighted? If you actually have a recipe that say has a base, a middle and a top, and you want to jump straight into a step, you can actually just press on the step that you want and it will jump you straight to that step so that you don't have to go next through the recipe. So start cooking. So 30 grams of salted butter cut into pieces. Actually, what I am going to do, I'm going to come back. Serving size 2 portions. Right, I can't do that then. That's all right, because I was going to show you half batches. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cook a half batch, but doing it with my brain, and then we'll have a look at cookie dough after. All right, there we go. And I'll show you how you can actually change portions, which has just come through in the past week, which is very cool. So insert measuring cup. Next, so 2 minutes, 50 degrees, speed 2, and I'm just going to turn it to that. And while that is doing that, I will share screen. There we go. So can everyone see my cookie dough? Now, one of the big keys with cookie dough is come over here to where, so you've got the app, the website, and the Thermomix. So I have opened mine in the website. The key to the app is that is where you're going to do all your meal planning, transfer things to your shopping list, all that sort of stuff. You can also do that on the website. However, the two things that are very key on the website is that it's much easier to create your recipes. So within my recipes, I can actually create my own recipes. And it's easier to do it obviously on the big screen on a laptop. And the other thing that you want to do on your laptop or in the website is this is where, when your subscription ends, this is where you resubscribe, is on the website. Can't do it on the app, can't do it on the machine, got to do it on the website. Now, a very cool thing, if you haven't already done it, is to go into your profile. And I actually changed my filter preferences to language English and country all. When you first log in to your cookie dough through Australia, you only get 3,000 recipes. So, but if you go into your preferences and change it to English and country all, you're actually going to get 10,000 recipes. You're going to get the American, the Canadian, the British, all those different recipes. So they're the two key things with your website. Let me just close that. And we will go next. So I have got milk instead of thickened cream. So it's 30 grams of thickened cream and 30 grams of milk. So I'm halving. So I'm just going to do 30 grams of milk. There we go. And the next 6 eggs. So I have 3 eggs, and I read the hints and tips, and it says to use cold eggs for this recipe. So I'm putting 3 eggs in. Next, 2 pinches of salt. So I always mill my own salt, because who wants to be fussing around with a grinder when you want to be cooking? Then next, insert measuring cup. Whoops. So there's always disaster, at least one. At least I haven't thrown eggs all over the place today. Right. Insert measuring cup. Then 20 seconds speed 3, and it shows me where 3 is. Turn around to there. Excellent. Okay. Let me get this going. So I have actually purchased the sous vide bags from the mix shop, and I have the little vacuum sealer. However, I'm going to show you how to do it with just a baggie as well. So pour half the mixture. So I'm going to use the whole mixture. It says seal, leaving a gap of approximately 3 centimeters while still open. So I have just mixed my eggs. I'm going to pour it into the bag. Obviously, these are bigger bags because they are for things like steak and stuff like that. All right, let's pour that in. So it says seal, leaving a gap of 3 centimeters. Then fill a sink or large container with water. So this one I'm actually going to use my little vacuum sealer. That up one. Okay. So it actually has a little air valve there. So I'm going to close it. And then, oh. Come on there. So same thing if you've got a normal vacuum. There we go. So it's vacuum sealed it to there. I've got a bit of egg over there, so lesson learned. All right, so next, slowly submerge the bag. We'll do that in a minute. Replete with the other egg mixture. Simmering basket side by side. Clean the mixing bowl. Well, I happen to have a spare one, which is the deal of the moment, as you know. Clean the mixing bowl. Place 1,850 grams of water. So what it's going to do is you actually, okay, 1,850, put the water in. Now, the reason that we do 900, you just saw that it said lemon. That's because we don't want the blades themselves don't actually rust, but we want to keep the water with a nice bit of acid. So 1850, 17, 1850. Next, 30 grams of lemon juice. So I'm cheating. Or 1 teaspoon of ascorbic acid. Yep. Right. Ensure the water level is correct. We're inserting our basket with the bags. So I've only got one bag. I'm going to pop that in there, into the bowl, ensuring the bags are completely covered and adding more water if necessary. I'm going to turn that around. Let me lift that up. You can see that the bag is covered. Just, there we go. Right. Tuck that in. Okay. Come back to there. Oh, remove the simmer basket. So what it wants to know that there's going to be enough water in there once it heats up. So I'll put that there. Go next, insert measuring cup, 15 minutes, 80 degrees, sous vide. So it's just going to warm it up. Once it's warm, we'll come back to it. But then we're going to get this one done. And I've actually pre-warmed this other Thermomix. So while I'm waiting for that to start up, sous vide is actually French for under vacuum. So that's why we vacuum seal. It's also known as low temperature, long time. So it's a method of cooking where you cook for a long time at a low temperature to get a perfect result. So the temperature is much lower, usually about 55 to 60 degrees for red meat, 66 to 71 for poultry, and higher for vegetables. So we're doing our scrambled eggs at 80, and we're also going to do this one at 80 as well. Let me just move this over. There we go. So my week. So I'm going to make sous vide strawberries with white chocolate mousse. So what I'm going to do is share screen and show you ones that I made earlier, because I'm actually not going to make the chocolate mousse, but let me highly recommend to you that you do it. Let me share. How good does that look? So that's the end result that I did at a lady's place last year. So that was awesome. Absolutely top notch, tasted yum. Absolutely yummy. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you and jump from this one. So you've got the white chocolate mousse, because you make it, and the cream cheese, the vanilla, place in the fridge for a minimum of 1 hour or overnight. And so I'm going to jump to the step where I've got the sous vide strawberries. So place 200 grams of strawberries, trimmed and cut with a tablespoon of orange juice. So I'm going to use another one of these big bags. There we go. Okay, tablespoon of orange juice. I'm just going to put in half because that was 2 tablespoons. 2 teaspoons of the maple syrup. So I've got that in a tablespoon form. So I'll just do half of that. And 4 of the basil leaves, optional, into a sous vide bag. So spread out in a single layer. So I'm going to spread that out. Take a bit of that air out. I will tilt that down. Okay, a single layer. Now, so it says do not fill liquid above this line. Oh. So I've done that. I'm going to do it the same with this one. There we go. Or let me show you the other method. Right. So what I've got here is I've just filled a thermoserver half full of water. And what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to crack it open just a touch. Dump it in the water. And then close it. Obviously, this one's a little bit bigger. Let me show you the other one. So the small one that I did earlier, I've just got some Velcro in there. So I'm going to pop it in. And as I push it down, I'm then going to zip lock it up. And there it is pretty much, I'm not sure if you can see it, pretty much vacuum sealed. Let's do this one a little bit more. So that's the two different ways. So you can just do it in your sink. Of course, my sink's on the other side of this bench. There we go. So I vacuum sealed my strawberries. Okay. Then next, repeat with the other sous vide bag. Now, insert blade cover. It actually gives you, let me see that, actually gives you a video. This is one of the recipes where it's got a video and it shows you how to place your blade cover in. There we go. So I've done that and I've put water in and I've put my lemon juice in as well. Then next, we want to make sure that it's going to be covered with water. So I'm just going to pour a bit more water in because it's not quite covered. There we go. Add water to fully submerge. Yep. Remove bags and set aside. Probably should have had another tea towel. That's all right. There we go. Okay, next. So I've done my lemon juice. Insert measuring cup. Then it's at 65 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to warm it up until it's at 80. And then I'll put the strawberries in. Okay, while we're doing that, we'll do our lesson. All right, so in 1799, a bloke first did the low temperature cooking. However, then it wasn't until like the 60s when two French guys, or a French guy and American guy, adopted the method in 1974 for foie gras. Of course it was foie gras that they wanted to do it. So it kept its original appearance, didn't lose excess amounts of fat, and had a better texture. So it didn't really, though, get big around the world until the 90s when, I don't know if you guys ever saw, not MasterChef, the Iron Chef, the Japanese show. Loved the Iron Chef. Was on SBS for years. The French Iron Chef used it and it started becoming popular, especially in America. Now it's mainly used in restaurants because they get the meat exactly the right temperature for exactly the right amount of time, and it turns out exactly the same every time. So obviously it's not used as much in home cooking, but I have actually met in the last 12 months, I've actually met probably 4 people who own, or one of their family actually owns a sous vide machine. I'd never heard of it before. I thought that was like super interesting that these people have these machines. So let me share the screen again. let's go back to Cookie Dough because I want to show you. So I'm actually going to choose Sous Vide. So there's different ways of searching for things on Cookie Dough. I'm just going to type in Sous Vide and see what I get. And I actually get 352 recipes. So there's lamb chops, salmon, steak, ragu, all sorts of stuff. So obviously, salmon and steak highly recommended. Porcini mushrooms. There's all sorts of stuff. So we've got scrambled eggs as well. Tenderloin with ginger glaze. So you can see it's, so the tenderloin takes 1 hour and 40. So a lot of it, well, not a lot of it, half of it is getting the water to the right temperature. Then vacuum sealing your bag and then cooking it at the right temperature for the right amount of time. So another way of searching for things in Cookie Dough is, I'm actually going to get rid of, actually no, you can actually go from recipes and go to collections, because there are actually collections that have sous vide. When you look at collections, you actually get all of the languages, but it's not too hard to find your English ones. So you got sous vide for 2. What's that one? Sous vide for the TM5. So you can do it with your TM5. Sous vide with the blade cover. Oh, miso aubergine. That looks nice. Okay, so that is collections. But then we've also got, let's see if there's anything under articles. Oh, look at that. Awesome, there is. So that's another thing. Cookie Dough is not just recipes. There's lots and lots and lots of information for you to look at and to read. You just got to know where to find it. So sous vide mode, cooking with it, bit of a video there. Set my cookies. There you go, cooking without a recipe, because I also want good to know. So your lemon to protect the mixing bowl is what that's for. There you go, reference temperature and time per ingredient. So you can find that in there as well. So that is pretty cool. So you'll find a lot of the articles are in all the different languages. So okay, so there's really only like 2 or 3 articles. Now the thing is, I've actually opened this in Google Chrome. I'm going to click on read more, even though that's in German, and it actually translates German for me in Cookie Dough. But if it doesn't straight off translate it for you, you can actually right click and scroll down and do translate to English. So especially Google Chrome will find it hard for Polish languages, the Slavic languages, so Polish and all those sorts of ones, but you can still translate just by right clicking on it. So we come back, because I want to come back to Australia. Otherwise it pictures a fit like it did the other night. So recipes, so other ways to look for it, you can actually go into filters and scroll down for tags. So I can do sous vide, but they obviously haven't filled all the tags out because there's only 61 recipes there. Whereas when I just looked before, there were 200 odd recipes. So tags are things like gluten-free, everyday, dairy-free, all that sort of stuff. Ooh, okay, let me stop share again, because we're actually at, we're at 80 degrees. So I'm actually going to stop and go next. Place the bag side by side into the mixing bowl. So that's my strawberries today. Making sure it's completely covered in water. So I'm just going to push it down. There we go. And then next, insert my measuring cup again. Tucking my bag in. And then it's 18 minutes, 80 degrees. And away we go. There we are. And I'm just about down on the other one as well. Nearly about ready to do our eggs. Did anyone have any questions as yet? Hopefully you're finding it interesting. Oh, Jenny, sorry, I muted you earlier. You muted again. Just down the bottom there. Oh, have you unmuted? No. Oh.
Yep. Lisa, yeah. Could I heat the water and put hot water, from the kettle into the mixing bowl?
So because it's 80 degrees, you want it to be a little less than boiling. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe half boil it, pour it in. But I reckon so long as it gets to the temperature that it wants in the recipe, you're good to go.
You could do that.
Yeah, because that's quite a long time, 15 minutes to wait.
Yes,
for it to warm up to the right temp. All right, so we've inserted our simmering basket. Put my lid back on. Next, so it's 10 minutes, 80 degrees. Sous vide. So whenever you have a recipe where you've actually got a picture instead of the year 0 to 10, that's a mode. So when you've got a mode, you only need to turn your silver dial one click for it to start going. You don't have to dial it all the way around. So that's the other thing I wanted to show you. I can actually come out of this, let's come out of this recipe here, because that's where our new, how about this one? Yep, there we go. So we also have sous vide as a mode here on our last screen. So if you wanted to, you can do it manually without a problem. So it's not going to show me the mode yet, but every time you open up a mode, if you can't see the instructions, you've actually got a little eye in a circle up the top right-hand corner, and if you press that, it will actually show you the instructions that you need. And then when you want that to go away, you just press X up the top right-hand side. So don't forget that with all our modes, the beauty of having your Cookie Do subscription is that when new modes come along, you get the new modes uploaded automatically when you do an update. Oh, one disappeared. There we go. And also with your subscription, you also get access to all the recipes. And within the recipes, in the Thermomix itself, we can only go up to 120 degrees and Veroma. What you have with the recipes is you can actually go to max heat. So you can brown your onions, brown your meat at 160 degrees, but you've got to have your subscription and it's part of the recipe. Then also you get the sugar stages. So you can make your honeycomb, your caramels, all that sort of awesome stuff as well. So highly recommend. It's $1.33 a week. Can't complain. And then when January rocks around, we're all going to get a new mode, and that's going to be called the cutter. So that's going to allow us to slice in 2 sizes and grate in 2 sizes. So that's super exciting. And for the first 2 months, it's only going to be a host reward. So you need to let me know or let your consultant know and book in as soon as you can for January or February to get it as a host reward. And then it'll be for sale after that. Okay, so we're back here. So that's 6 minutes, that's 13 minutes. Let's do a little bit more history. Okay, so essential features. Sealing the food in sturdy plastic bags retains the juices and aroma that otherwise would be lost in the process. Placing the packaged food in a water bath with the temperature set at the desired final cooking temperature of the food prevents overcooking, because the food cannot get hotter than the bath that it's in, such as, you know, like a bain-marie. So it's very precise control of cooking can be achieved. So obviously all our master chefy people. Okay. It can even very even throughout. We can cook. Additionally, temperature, thus cooking, can be very even throughout food, even with irregularly shaped and very thick items, given enough time. So the thicker it is, so if you've got a big, thick, juicy New York steak, it's gonna take longer, of course. So conventional high heat cooking, the food is exposed to heat levels that are much higher and must be removed from the high heat prior to reaching the cooking. You set it aside, you let it rest, it keeps cooking. Use of temperatures much lower is essential feature, conventional cooking, essential feature of sous vide. Tough collagen in the meat in connective tissue can be denatured into gelatin without heating the meat's proteins high enough. Oh my goodness, that's a bit scientific. But before the texture toughens and moisture exuded from the meat. So with soft vegetables, the low temperature cooking allows the plant matter to remain more succulent and the cell walls don't burst. So cooking vegetables at temperatures below boiling point allows them to be thoroughly cooked while maintaining a firm or somewhat crisp texture. Now, I grew up in the 70s, so I do know of which I speak, of the carrots, peas, beans, everything was just obliterated, boiled to death. Okay, the exclusion of air is secondary, but it's practical. It allows cooked food to be stored, still sealed and refrigerated for considerable times. So that's something possibly if you go camping, that might be quite handy. So maybe have a read up of that if you go in caravanning and stuff like that. All right, 15 mil thick piece of fish will cook in 17 to 18 minutes. Temperatures, blah, blah, blah. Limitations. So you're not going to get the browning, of course. Flavors and crust texture developed by browning. Some people find that desirable. Okay. Sous vide's been used on TV shows and restaurants. It's also been used to quickly produce significant quantities of meals for hurricane evacuees. So that's cool. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there's our history. Cook a rare steak and keep it in the fridge, then cook a medium steak and serve them at the same time. Yes. Yes, you could. And sear them both. That's a very good idea, Helen. So there's all sorts of different things. I'm not sure if Claire is back on. She's actually done steak a couple of times. Oh, there you are. Yay.
I'm home. Hello.
You're our steak expert.
Yes. Yeah, I've enjoyed. I usually use rump rump steak is what I use in the sous vide, and normally I think there is an option for a steak meal in Cookie Do.
Yeah.
And so it usually takes about an hour and a half to do, but it's so tender. So what you do is you put the rump steak, and you can season it into the sous vide bags. Then it cooks for about an hour and a half, and then you put in the frying pan, and you're just basically doing about 40 seconds on either side, or a little bit more if you want a little bit of, if you want it more than medium. But yeah, it's tender, very tender. I think the first time I did it, I was quite surprised, and I had to look after my own meal because my son inhaled his even before vegetables got on the plate. So it's very tender, I find. Yeah, and it gives it that nice restaurant look when you do it in the pan as well, and so you've got that nice kind of somewhat crusty outside, but very tender and melt in your mouth in the middle. So
that's fantastic.
Yes, recommend it.
All right. So yeah, it's really about the, that temperature being so perfect that you get the right result every single time, isn't it? Yeah. That perfect result. Awesome. And unlike a lot of our Thermomix recipes, it's more about taking the time rather than being quick as well. Cool. All right, we're just about with our. Okay, so this is our scrambled eggs. So next, using tongs. Of course, I don't have tongs with me. Hang on. Remove the basket and place it on the kitchen bench. So I'm just going to put it there. Bend it down. So then it says, using the spatula, gently but quickly break up the egg mixture. Be sure the bag stays sealed and are not punctured. All right. So that's how it looks now. Okay, so you can see, I can see that it's like started cooking. Right. Okay, so I'm going to push that back down. Place the bags back into the basket and the bowl. There we go. So it's measuring cup. You're next. So another 9 minutes, but it will go fast because our strawberries will be done in 5. Do we have any other questions? Has anyone actually had sous vide in restaurants and stuff like that?
Yes.
Yeah? How was it?
Oh, and all sorts of different things that I've had, but the thing, as you say, the flavour's very rich and tasty. And if it's a meat dish or fish, it's always just perfectly cooked.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm actually going to do a bit more research with the vegetables, actually, because I quite like the idea of that. Although Claire actually did. What was it you did in in our egg boiler mode?
Yes, the egg boiler on soft.
Yes. What did you cook again?
I did runner beans.
But
I have done asparagus and lots of different vegetables, actually, and even the frozen vegetables. I get the bag of carrots, broccoli, beans, and cauliflower, and just pop them in the egg boiler on soft mode, and it's perfect for me. I like my vegetables al dente. So it's on the soft is fantastic. So
Awesome.
different way of using it.
Yep. That's cool. All right, 3 minutes for our strawberries. So any other questions? Do we want to look at cookie dough again for anything?
Just a question. It was about something came up because I've only just got my machine.
Yes.
When you're changing the language to English and the country to all, I couldn't find the all in the country. Is that only on?
So you deselect. Yeah. So you don't actually press all. You just deselect all the countries.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, and then when it comes up on the screen, it'll say all.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Now the other thing, let me share the screen again because I want to show you something with that. The only thing that you've got to look at, let me type in honeycomb. Honeycomb. Oh, hang on. I've got my filter. It says sous vide.
Yeah.
So if anything looks weird, have a look around and see what you've done to yourself. But I am going to type in honeycomb. Right, now you can see that we've actually got 4 recipes for honeycomb. What you want to do, especially because one of the recipes is usually American. So sometimes what happens with American recipes is it does come up with ounces already on the screen, which is super handy because if it wants 2 ounces, you just put 2 ounces in. It's awesome. The only thing is you have to work out when you need to use your oven, but usually 99% of the time it's 180 degrees with most recipes. But let's open this honeycomb. Now, how we know where it's actually from is we scroll all the way down. You can do this on the app as well. Basic Cookbook, Australia and New Zealand. Yeah. So then we look at the next one and we scroll down and that's UK and Ireland. And then we've got this one is, there you go, international. So Canada and international cookbooks. And then the last one is United States. Yeah, so that one's going to have your ounces. So if you'd be making honeycomb, I'd normally use the Australian recipe. What else? Let's have a look. So that's good to know. Now with stock paste, I usually just use veggie stock paste. You can do your beef and your chicken and your fish stock paste, but basically I'm just lazy. So now that banana bread recipe, I just made that this morning. Awesome. I use milk. I don't bother with buttermilk. Yet again, too lazy. It says 350 grams of bananas. I had 320 grams of bananas. So I actually had chopped chips. So I threw in about 70 grams of chopped chips because I could. Because I wanted to. All right, mode is done. So this is our strawberries. So next, carefully remove bags using the tongs. Set aside to cool. So this has been perfectly cooked and I've already shown you the pictures. So that is, remember that's orange juice and maple syrup. So that is absolutely gorgeous. Highly recommend. And the reason I actually didn't do the rest of the mousse, like the little cheesecakey thing, is because I've started packing. And of course, my beautiful little glass jars have been packed already. So everything I decide to do, I find that I've packed something already. All right, so spoon strawberries and any cooking juices over the mousse before serving. So there's the picture. I actually like the picture we took before at the lady's house. All right, so we've got 2 minutes left for our scrambled eggs. Now, it depends on how you like your scrambled eggs. My admission, of course, is that I like my things dead. So I've been to fancy restaurants for breakfast, and the chef was offended because I wanted my fried eggs dead. And he said, the apprentice could do that. I refuse. So I know where I stand in regards to eggs. So I probably, because I know that scrambled eggs in a lot of places is still quite not liquidy, but juicy, if you know what I mean. So I would probably
silky.
Silky, that's the word. That's a better word. That's a much better word than what I was using. So I'd probably, personal preference, I'd probably whack it back in. I'll show you how it is, and then I'll probably whack it back in and do it for a couple more minutes.
Sure.
Once it's done. All right. Any other questions or anything you would like to see next week? In advertisement first, in a couple of weeks' time, the whole team is going to get together here, or as many of the team as I can convince to come here, Claire.
Yes.
And do a Christmas virtual. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to cook a few fun things and show you a few different things that you can do for possibly, we're going to talk about Christmas gifts, actually cooking the do your roulade. There's greens with feta is just stunning, and we'll find a couple of other things as well that we can make. We'll probably go a little bit over time that week, but I'm sure you'll forgive us. But it's going to be lots of fun having everybody in the room. So don't forget, if you or someone you know would like to think about being a consultant, give me a call, let me know. We obviously want people to join our team. It's a great, first job. If you're sick of your job, you want to cut some hours, come and join us. If you don't want to, if you've got someone that you have that's had kids, they don't want to go back to work, they want to do their own thing, let me know, and they can join us as well. More the merrier. Okay, use tongs carefully, remove baskets, and then transfer our scrambled eggs. Season with salt and pepper, garnish with fresh chives. All right. So there we go. I'm sure that is quite silky. I'll just, yep. The guy at, oh yeah, oh my goodness. That looks really good. Hang on, let me get a plate. A dark plate so we can, a dark bowl so it'll show up. The lid. That actually, how's that?
No, it looks good.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, I probably wouldn't kill that actually. I wouldn't cook that any longer. That looks awesome. So then that's something you could do. Sorry?
It looks good and it's not floating.
Yes. And so that's the other thing. You could probably pop that on, heat your water straight up, pop that on, go and have a shower, come back on a Sunday morning and have perfectly done scrambled eggs. So I think that's pretty good. I'm quite impressed. So I've done the strawberries before, but I hadn't done the scrambled eggs before, but it was highly recommended. And it fit our time frame for our virtual. All right. Questions and suggestions for next week.
Another question from Jenny.
Yep.
If you, there was a note that if you invited 2 people,
Yes.
you could claim a host reward.
Correct.
Yes. So do they
Yes.
need to be present with you at the
Yes.
Zoom?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you just you send them the link, they
Yep.
register, they come on, and normally partway through or towards the end of the Zoom, I take a screenshot of who's been here. You let me know their names, and then we fill out the details for the host reward.
Right.
Yeah. Who's your consultant?
Colette Matriga in Brisbane.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh, whereabouts are
That's
you?
good.
Are you in Brisbane as well?
I'm in Castlemaine, in just an hour and a half from Melbourne. Yeah.
Awesome.
We got through to, we went to Colette because a friend had joined her team. So we've yes, we've been talking with her. So that's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes.
No worries. Yeah, well, we're happy to support everyone, keep people inspired as well. And because every consultant has different strengths as well. You know, some people are big on gluten-free and additive-free. Some are raw food. You know, you just never know what you're going to find.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, anyone else? Oh, hang on, one new message. Be away over East for 2 weeks. Oh, cool. No worries, Helen. Yes. We'll catch us on YouTube. There we go. No, that's not it. There we go. Enjoy your trip. Oh, there you go. Filter on English, filter Australia, UK, and US. That's a good idea, Claire, as well. Yeah, so don't forget you can find me on YouTube. You can see all our past ones that we've actually, since we've started recording. There's a couple I need to go back and do again. And yeah, please recommend us to all your friends. And hopefully we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you. Yeah, and then anyone got any ideas for next week? Oh,
I'll
yes.
put my thinking cap on.
Yes. We need to be able to finish it in 45 minutes. That's the only thing. Like, there's all sorts of stuff that we actually did pavlovas. And because I'd pre-prepared one before, so you could see the end result. So that worked out pretty well. So yeah, put your thinking caps on, let us know.
Cool.
Awesome. And then don't forget to look out for our, sorry?
I have to get my Sous gear out and have a go now.
Yes. Yeah. How cool's that?
Looks
And then
good.
the strawberries, hang on.
Yeah.
Let me.
Remember to take photos, Jenny.
Okay, I might
Yes.
do the pork. I bought some a long time ago to try and I haven't done it. It's in the freezer.
Yes, because we've got the competition in the closed group too at the moment. Don't forget. Let's pop them out. Oh, that looks yummy. Even just that with on ice cream, I reckon. Yum.
Looks yum.
Smells yum. Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming along. And I hope you've learned something tonight, because that's what we're here for. Awesome.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Lisa.
much. It was great. Thank you, Lisa.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.